because Saturday Toastmasters aren't a day that we have to go to training. It is a day we get to come together to share with each other best practices and opportunities for all of us to grow and succeed. It's the day that we step outside of our clubs and we step into our possibilities. Today is the day that I also get to help you become a more effective club president. So I have to first ask you, how did you become a club president? Did you volunteer to be a club president, or were you voluntold to be a club president? We laugh. We all know, at one point or another, all of us at some point were voluntold to do something within Toastmasters. After the first year that I was club president, I went to transition to the new incoming club president. We did the officer installation. We passed the hammer from person to person, the gavel, all down the line. At the end, she stood up to address the new club and she said, "Everyone, I have great news. I'm moving to the beach." My face dropped. I can't be club president. So therefore, I really just wanted to do this to make sure I could put it on my LinkedIn. Here's the gavel. She handed me the gavel. That's the expression I had right there. Handed me the gavel, walked out the room, and I stood up and said, "Who's next?" And my best friends in Toastmasters said, "You did a great job the first time, you're doing it again." I learned more in the second year that I was club president than I did in the first year because I had an idea of what I was doing. Oftentimes, repeating a role, maybe not right in a row, but repeating a role is a great opportunity for us to practice what we've learned and to be able to make a difference in people's lives instead of just filling in the check marks. As we are a club president, as we're working through this year in leadership, there are really 3 different ways you're going to have an opportunity to interact with your team. And all of them work at one time or another, but not all of them are created equal. First, you have your cowboys. A cowboy are those folks that say, "Rules? We don't need no stinking rules, and we do whatever we want, whenever we want, however we want. Everything is free range." It doesn't always necessarily lead to the most effective presidency or club meetings, but they can be a lot of fun. The second way are those controllers. I have control of the club. You will do every last thing I have to say. Think of the characters in Wedding Singer. It's kind of the same thing, but with a club instead. When you're a controller and you're controlling everything, 2 big things happen. 1, nobody else takes responsibility because you've taken that away from them. And 2, when you step out of office, nobody knows how to do a thing because you've kept everything so tied tightly that no one knows what to do. And heaven forbid you move away or leave Toastmasters in the middle of your term, your club is left in disarray. So those are the 2 extremes. On one end, cowboys. On the other end, controllers. In the middle is the sweet spot. Those are your coaches. Those are the folks that don't tell you what to do, they show you what to do. They guide you along your path, helping pick you up whenever you stumble and fall, giving you the courage to fail fast, fail often, but fail forward. They're the ones that help you understand that this isn't something that you have to do, it's something you get to do. You get to invest in the journey of everyone else, and along the way, maybe you just learn a little bit more about yourself, about your own style, and you become a better version of whomever you're going to be. There are 7 C's in leadership that I think are incredibly important for every club president. Culture. The culture is how the club works. It's that feeling you get when you walk into the room every single day. Then you have the commitment. Are we committed to doing what's right for each other, or are we committed to just following the rules that we're going to follow every single day? So there's a little bit of cowboy in there, a little bit of controller in there, and a lot of coaching in there. There's competence. Do we have the ability to do the things we're asked to do? Have we been trained to do those things? Have we come to trainings to understand what it is we're doing? Clarity is in terms of, are we sure where we're going? Do we have a mission? Do we have a vision? Or are we just standing up in front of our room every week, introducing the next speaker and hoping somebody else in the audience knows what to do out there? How do we communicate? Do we communicate in a way that lifts people up, or do we communicate in a way that pushes people down? Is it consistent communication? Do we have messages that go out on a regular basis? Are you confirming roles for your week? Does everybody know what's happening within the club, or do they show up one day and say, contest? Today's a contest? I didn't know that. Those are important components. Consistency is trying to deliver the same meeting on a regular basis so that it's repeatable every single time that you stand up in front of the group and you guide us towards a specific mission. There's a repeatability to that consistency, and there's a community built throughout everything that happens throughout your club. It's not just Toastmasters for the sake of Toastmasters. Nobody joined Toastmasters because we wanted to become better at this. We all joined because we wanted to do something better out there. We all joined because something in our lives drew us together, realized we didn't have all the rules, we didn't even have all the questions. Instead, we knew we needed help, and that community helps build us together. So let's talk about each one of these individually and how this applies to you as a club president. The culture that you develop is the feeling you get when you walk into a room. How many of you have ever been into a Toastmasters meeting and you just feel that tension? You feel the pain and the struggle that folks feel as they're in there. There's a couple of people, nobody's doing this, I see this. It happens at times. Let me give you a quick story about what kind of a culture you can let evolve if you don't do anything to purposely evolve a culture. When I was in Fort Lauderdale, when I first moved down there, I went to all of the clubs that are around where I lived, and I went to this one that was by train tracks, and it was the oldest club I could find. I'm not talking old in terms of Toastmasters year. This is Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Every one of the people in that club was a minimum of 70 years old. That was the youngest that they were. There was friction within that club, significant friction within that club. At the end of the first speech, you had the timer for the day stand up to give the timer's report. The VPE of the club wasn't having it, and they started bickering back and forth. It turned into not just a bicker, but it turned into, I'm gonna come get you. You've never had hilarity ensue if you have two people, aggregate age of 180 years old, trying to get together to fist fight. I'm coming for you. Wait a minute. I'll get there. 7 minutes it took them to get halfway across the aisle. Every single person there was like, this is hysterical. I'm like, is no one gonna stop this? Now let me ask you, do you think that's a club that I went back to? You're wrong. I had to go back. I wanted to see what happened next. But did I join that club? No, I did not join. I wanted the popcorn experience. We have those cultures within our clubs. We have those cultures in our communities. Sometimes that infighting draws people away from us. We have the opportunity every week to either pull people into the door or push them out. Your culture determines that. My club in Orlando, Florida is the exact opposite of that. We refer to ourselves as a little box of puppies where we learn while having fun. It is the most welcoming group of individuals I've ever met. We've been together as a group, the core of our group. Almost 20 of us have been together for over a decade. We've moved away, we've come back. The only good thing with COVID is we learned how to do this online so that we could come to meetings in person without wearing pants from the comfort of our own rooms. And we do that from all over the country. The culture draws us in and it keeps us together. And if I'm gonna give you one message as club presidents, build the culture you need. Don't settle for the culture you have. How you do that is going to depend upon what you want to do. You're going to go through and make measurements, and you're going to accomplish things within Toastmasters that are important. You're going to go through Distinguished Club Program Protocol, meaning that you're going to provide opportunities for speakers to speak within the education program. You're going to send people to club officer training. You're going to fulfill all of the duties required for the administrative roles, and you're going to ensure that you're getting club points and you're guiding your club forward. Now, why is it important for the club president to push this forward? The answer is very simple. It's the outcome of what you deliver on a regular basis. It's the result. This is not why we are here. Nobody came to fill out this report. We came to do the things to help people grow. This is how we measure if we're doing the right things to provide them the opportunities to grow. So all of your Distinguished Club program reports help you measure, are we doing the right things and providing the right opportunities? Part of that is to ensure you have an agenda. How many of you have an agenda that you pre-fill weeks in advance to ensure that your members know when they're going to speak and when they're going to fulfill functionary roles? I just had two people look at each other and go, is that the thing that we do? Not everyone does agendas. But here's the problem if you go to a meeting without an agenda. You walk in and you say, who has a speech today? It's not a planned speech if your plan was to find someone to give it that day. All of us need opportunity to practice, to progress. If you give people an agenda 4 weeks out, that allows people to plan their life around Toastmasters a little bit, to practice a speech and get to Toastmasters to practice what they want to do here. The club I'm in Charleston, we do our speeches 4 weeks out. The club I'm in Orlando, we have an entire 6 months up on free Toast to allow people to pick their speeches for when they want to do that. Sharon in the back was like, I do that same thing within my club. What we're doing is providing people with opportunities to practice for the future them that's going to be experienced out there, not for the current them that's going to be experienced up here. This is where we get better for that. Agendas are the great way to do that. And you might ask, well, this is just a Toastmasters thing, right? Have you ever gone to a meeting in your company and there was no agenda? I just got these looks on my face, on people's faces like, oh, God, I want to kill somebody right now. It happens on a regular basis, but the problem is we don't teach ourselves and provide us with opportunities to fail in private so we can succeed in public. These agendas prepare us to be better leaders, not just in our club, but out in the real world. The commitment is making sure that we get everyone rowing in the same direction. You can have two things to do with those rows. You can either paddle forward together simultaneously to move forward in a speedy and efficient manner, or you can take the paddles out and smack each other with them. Those are two different experiences. The commitment from the culture determines what type of an experience you want to have. I think we all know members within our clubs that we would like to hit with a paddle, but we don't. We don't. That's not who we are. The commitment is to grow forward, to gain the effectiveness and the efficiency. When you have somebody who's disruptive that starts paddling against you, the opportunity then is to course correct with them to help them understand why it's important that we don't paddle against the grain, but with the grain, to help us move forward in one direction. That commitment is done through things like success plans for the club, moments of truth for the club, to provide the club with opportunities to grow and to understand where we're growing, and then everyone to get on board. It's fine to disagree. It's better to disagree in private, so that when you come back to the club, you have agreement in public. When you have the agreement in public and agree, everyone is going in a specific direction, you'll get to where you're trying to go. How many of you have heard of a Toastmaster wears many hats? If you've not read that manual, I highly encourage you, go to TLI.com, download a Toastmasters Wears Many Hats. It's not just a metaphor, it's an actual manual. It talks about all of the roles that we do within Toastmasters. Presidents aren't responsible for doing everything in the club. They're responsible for presiding over what happens in the club. It's in the name. If you preside over what happens in the club, you need to have a working knowledge of what everyone does. You would need to understand a little bit about what's the VPE doing, why is the VPM talking to new members, how's the VPPR getting out in the club to promote us to new places, how's the Sergeant at Arms ensuring that we have the facilities and the resources we need to have an effective meeting. That competence, if you have that competence, that's great. The goal is, though, is to hand those hats out one at a time to every member of your club, so everyone in your club shares in your competence and your passion to ensure that the club you're providing is the club that you need to provide to your people. How many of you joined Toastmasters for the same reason? How many of you have one specific reason you joined Toastmasters?
Therapy.
A couple people. Therapy. Why else? It's a reason.
Confidence.
Confidence. Anybody get sent by your boss?
Oh, I did.
4 hands just went, oh, that was me, I did that. We all come from different reasons, but that means we don't all need the same thing. Having competence within delivering our club culture and our club meetings in a way that meets the needs of every single person requires that we understand what each of the roles do, and we ask everybody, what are you trying to get out of Toastmasters? At the beginning of every year, whether I'm VP or a club president, or if I'm just a plain old Toastmaster, I will ask everybody, what is it that you want to get out of Toastmasters this specific year? I don't want at the end of the year for you to say, I wasted a year in Toastmasters. I want at the end of the year to say, I invested a year in Toastmasters. I'm better now because I practiced there and I took this out into the real world. Learn the competence of all the roles and you'll learn how to build a better club. The clarity is ensuring that you see things not through rose-colored glasses or through shades of gray, but you see them for what they really are. Some clubs work effective with each other. Some clubs fight. Some clubs never talk. Know what your club is and use the tools within your disposal to be able to root out the conflict, solve that conflict, and move forward in the future. Clarity means that not only do you know what you're supposed to do and you're providing the right culture, it means that you're looking objectively at the relationships and you're looking at objectively at what you're delivering to your club. Is it the thing that they need, or are we just repeating the same process and hoping people come along? Clarity in terms of behavior means that you're also clear of what you're doing as a club president to ensure that everybody else can grow. It means you're looking at yourself, looking yourself in the mirror and saying, where can I get better? What are the things that I need to do to grow as a person and as a leader? And then using Toastmasters as that venue to help you get better. It is really hard to get fired from Toastmasters. I've seen people try. It is really hard to get fired from Toastmasters. You have to really put the work in to get yourself fired. It's not so hard to get yourself fired from a job. Your boss can say you're not progressing well, and they can send you away. This is the place to have the clarity to know, I need to develop these skills here so that I can fail forward, so that when I go out there, I am a much better version of whom I'm supposed to be. We communicate in many different ways throughout our club. Some clubs use text strings, some clubs use email, some clubs still use phone calls. When I was in Fort Wayne, and I was a district director, if I needed to get hold of a guy that was a sergeant at arms in multiple clubs, I had to write him a letter, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, and put it in the mail. He was off the grid. Someone would take him his mail to his cabin in the woods every single week. He was a great member. He gave great speeches. He was powerful and he was passionate. He was just 100% off the grid. How we want to communicate isn't as important as how our members want to receive our communication. And there's two different ways that you're going to communicate. One is through what you tell people you're going to do. But the more important thing is in what you actually do. When you align what you do with what you say and who you are, you build confidence that you're trying to guide people towards a better themselves. As opposed to saying one thing, doing another, and taking the paddle and rolling with fear. That's not a healthy club. How we communicate isn't just about the words and the messages, it's about how we deliver them. It's about our passion, our enthusiasm. It's about making sure that even though we might be in a bad mood on a specific day, nobody else knows it because they're expecting us to help set the tone for that meeting. Consistency is ensuring that what you do today is what you're going to do tomorrow. This is one of my favorite humans of all time, Cal Ripken Jr. I got to go see him play the week that he broke the record at Camden Yards. I loved him because he showed up every single day, injured, sick, uncommitted. He showed up and played shortstop for the Orioles every single day for years, 2,157 straight games, 162 games in a year. That is a lot of years. The consistency is showing up as yourself, being not the authentic version of yourself, but the best version of yourself. The authentic version of yourself is to stand up in front and say, I don't want to be here today. And have your club say, oh, we don't either. That's not helping anybody. The consistency version is standing up and saying, I'm so glad I get to be here today, and I'm glad you're here with me. Completely different tone. How you interact with people on a regular basis, that helps build your brand as a leader and your brand as a person. That translates not just through all Toastmasters, but it translates through all of life. Your family will be happy if they know that the same version of you is coming home every single day. And community. Toastmasters is never meant to be done in solitude. It was always meant to be done as an aggregate. We are a Toastmasters group. I'm not going to say we're a Toastmasters family because we're not. We choose to come together for a specific goal. We choose to gather for a specific reason. And when we do, magic can happen. Let me give you another great short story. This gentleman sitting right here, second one in the picture on the left, that's Jeremy Udell, one of my best friends in Toastmasters. For years, he wanted to get to the district finals for evaluation. Well, at the time, I was the Susan Lucci of District 84. I made it to the district finals every year and came in second place in every contest. I have a plethora of second place trophies. I can never break through, and he can never get through because I always beat him at some point in contest. He said, would you just go join a different club and help me out here? And you laugh, and I did too, but then I thought, what if what I'm supposed to be doing isn't for me to win, but it's to help somebody else find their voice? To help that community, to help somebody else in my community thrive. So I did. I went and joined a different club. We both won our club contest. We both won our area contest. We both won our division contest. And one of the happiest days of my life was sitting in the main aisle, pulling the chair beside me with a clipboard and a paper with Jeremy, giving him instructions. This is how you're going to look at this speech. This is the point of view we're going to have. This is what's going to happen after this. When we went back into the room to make our notes, when they collected our notes, he literally was bouncing off the walls. If you've ever been a 4-year-old that had a pound of sugar, think that and then double it. He couldn't contain his energy, and I reminded him, it's just a club meeting with more people and worse food. That's all a conference is. You'll be fine. He went up right before me and he slayed his evaluation. He came back and sat down and they said that he was the happiest at that table they'd ever seen him. I went up and I slayed my evaluation. He dropped his head and he knew that he was going to be on a stage, but probably not get the big trophy. Investing in my community was the first time I won a district conference, a district contest. Jeremy came in second. When I was announced as the first place winner, I was so happy. I left our district director standing with a trophy in one hand, a hand extended in the other hand, and watching me run right beside him to pick Jeremy up and bounce up and down with him because we had done something that I knew meant the world to him. That community, when you invest in everyone else, when you invest in others, you learn in a way that's impossible if you're only invested in yourself. We become our best versions by helping others, by building a community, not by keeping that information to ourselves. As a president, the buck stops with you. Everything happens you're going to be responsible for the good and the bad. When you succeed, share the credit. When you fail, take the blame. Help others understand where they're going and what they're doing so that as they move forward in their journey, they will be able to have a better idea of what they're going to do. Now, are there specific tools you need to do? Absolutely. There's a lot of other resources to be able to find all of those individual tools. Download the President's Training from TI. Download a Toastmaster Wears Many Hats. Download the district trainings. There's a ton of opportunities out there to be able to learn all those specifics. And most importantly, ask questions. It's okay. If you've never been here before, how would you know what to ask? So ask people, what don't I know that I should know? You're going to find folks out there that are willing to help you at every step of the way. I am one of them. And while I might not be a district officer this year, I'm always just a phone call or an email away. This is my actual phone number. Text me, call me, connect with me on LinkedIn.